Welcome back to the channel. My name is Austin Engelhardt. Today we're going to go through a roadmap to get you to $500,000 a month in 2026. At minimum, all my clients are doing this in revenue. Some of them are doing it in ad spend, and some of them are doing much more. Some are spending $1 million a month. But at this, as a nice base level of $500,000 a month in ad spend, this is the roadmap that you could follow, and it should get you there. I obviously make no income claims, I make no guarantees, but this is a very high chance if you follow all of these things that it can get you there. The first thing is the math of $500,000 a month. What does that mean, right? So in revenue, it's a $50 AOV, 10,000 orders, $100 AOV, 5,000 orders, or a bit higher at $250 AOV. So you have to focus on the upsells, the offer, what is your product actually going to cost the consumer to get you to that level, right? Just reverse psychology it a little bit, reverse engineer it a tiny bit, see how many orders you actually need, and then go in from there, right? So pick one of these, whatever category or price range your product is, have it fall into that bucket, one of these three, and then you're going to scale knowing this metric that you need to keep in mind. The foundation is the most important thing here. You are not going to scale until the offer is proven. That includes the entire funnel. What is your offer, right? Is it a buy one, get one? Is it a buy two, get one free? Is it X% off? Is it a free gift? You buy this, you get a free gift, you get a free sampler, a free taster, something relating to getting something in exchange for them purchasing your product, right? Until you figure that out, you should not scale. You should be doing a lot of testing, maybe $100,000 a month in spend. But if you are not sure what your offer is, what's actually going to scale and what's clicking right now, you should not scale until this is, really thought out and it's clicking perfectly. Until you're very confident that, oh wow, okay, this ROAS is here, everything's working. You can't really push the boundaries yet. Lock in the offer first, and of course you can tweak it once you find the winning offer. But this is very important to have on the landing page. It needs to be then congruent with the actual ad. Of course, you need a hero winning product. You cannot scale with a skew of products, right? If you have 10 different things that are, the anti-aging serum, the lotion, the under eye serum, you need to have a winning product. Or else it's very difficult to push a bunch of products on one landing page that has just, a bunch of SKUs. You cannot distract and confuse the consumer. They're going to, they're scrolling on their feed. They're going to see your ad. They're going to click. Hopefully they're going to buy. Simplify that process. Educate them on the landing page. What's your offer? What's the product? Buy it, or, they're going to they're going to leave that page, right? So you need to have a winning product. Do not confuse yourself, and especially not the consumer. Winning product, winning offer, and the attribution needs to be right. So, if everything's not dialed in, the pixel, the tracking software, it's going to be very difficult to scale. You need a north beam, you need a triple whale, you need to make sure that the pixel is on every page, conversion API is firing properly. Make sure it's accurate. I've been in a position where we're scaling and the pixel is just, it's misfiring, the deduplication's not working properly. So we have to go back and really scale down pretty hard once we think we found winning ads. It's just a position you don't want to be in. So as you scale, this tends to happen with a bunch of different traffic sources. Make sure your attribution is accurate. Overall, the funnel should be relatively simple, right? It's ad, it's product page, it's checkout. If you want to add a step, if it's a very, educational, necessary product, like even a serum, right? If you're selling to 65 plus, if it's, a comparison, right? You can run it to an advertorial, run it to an educational blog, and then it will go to the product page with the offer, and then it's the checkout. If you look at, Rise Superfoods or Everyday Dose, it leads to a very educational free starter kit page, and then it's right to checkout. So that's just a very, it's a very simple process. If you go to, for example, a different mushroom coffee, it could go to, why Americans are ditching coffee for this, alternative, and then the product page and then the checkout. Figure out what your funnel structure is before you start to scale. You need the foundation dialed in. Number 2, the creative volume. Once this offer is structured, the landing page is completely dialed, everything from the psychology perspective is completely set up, then you're going to focus on creative volume. The minimum that you should have if you're spending $100,000 a month is 20 to 40 new creatives per week. This isn't a monthly thing. Every single week, you need new creatives. Whether you're having creators make it, I highly suggest against testing all this AI junk. I haven't seen it convert. Everyone on Twitter who's talking about it, I think they're highly incentivized to say it's working. You're going to have creators. Of course, you can hire us, makewinnинgads.com, to make the creatives for you. Or you're going to just film some yourself, POV style, unboxing. Get a bunch of new creatives in the account every single week. It's very tedious. You got to set it up. You got to upload. You have to go out and film. If you don't want to do it, like I said before, just click the link below. We'll do it for you. But all these creatives are necessary to feed the algorithm. You need to have different angles, right? So why ditch the alternative? This is the best way I found this. This lowered my cortisol. My eye wrinkles are gone. I'm done. I'm a side sleeper. I finally found the solution I've been looking for. You need to have like multiple angles. Like 4 to 6 is on the conservative side. And this is just at $100,000 a month in spend. Once you're getting to the $250,000, $500,000 a month in spend, I have clients, we're uploading 100 creatives a week or more to get to even higher levels of spend. It is so necessary, and everyone thinks, I can just upload 5. If one's not working, I'll figure it out. It has to be a system. Like every single thing has to be dialed in here, or else it's just not going to feed the algorithm enough to then find a winning ad for you. And then once you do find a winning ad, you cannot just ride that and hope it's going to work forever. That's going to burn out much faster than it used to. It used to be, you could probably ride it for like 6 months. Now, it's like 2 weeks. It won't necessarily burn out, but you need to find a winner immediately. You can't just, take your foot off the gas once there's a winning ad. Another thing is multiple formats per concept, right? So if you have one angle, 5 reasons I love this, you can't just have it in one simple format. You could have 5 reasons, very simple style. You could also try a green screen. You could try reply to comment. You can try a street interview, which we are focusing heavily on right now with my agency because it's it's overtaking almost every ad in the account. Multiple formats with the same angles, multiple creatives every single week. What creatives actually scale in 2026? These are what's working across the board. Street interviews, number one, which is what we're focusing on a lot for our clients right now. They're performing for every brand, whether it's B2B, SaaS, consumer products, consumer packaged goods. Everyone is reacting to these. These were huge a few years ago. We focused on these about 5 years ago. They worked very well for big brands, True Classics. We did it for Ridge, did it for Flow Vitamins, did it for a lot of brands. And now they're coming back. They are so engaging. I mean, you scroll through TikTok, you see it, School of Hard Knocks. There's a bunch of people on Rodeo, and you're just interviewing, car owners and people that are the street interview format is crushing right now. That's why we're putting so many resources on this. Street interviews, POV problems to solution with the typical UGC, green screen explainer, of course the product demo, unboxing, overhead, polished type of look, and of course statics. Statics with an offer work very well. Nice headline, good looking thing of the product, good looking image of the product looks very well. Boomerangs also perform very well. These are the formats that are scaling in 2026. Of course, I can say this. If they're not done properly, it's not going to work. So if you need help making it, makeWinningAds.com. If you can make them, this is what you need to be testing pretty much ASAP. I'd probably say 2 of these a week. That would be pretty solid. It's a good amount of volume if you can get all these done. I mean, statics are pretty simple to make. Just keep pumping them out. But these are the styles that are really allowing a lot of the ad accounts to scale. The iteration system. So once you've created all of these, and then hopefully you find a winner, there's one that's going to the top in the testing or the scaling campaign in your ad account. This is how to iterate. You're going to take the same hook, so whether it's a question from a street interview or a 3 reasons or a 3 myths or whatever your hook is, you're going to keep that same hook with a new opening. So new intro clip, new person saying, reacting to that hook. You can do the same script with a new talent, the same concept with new proof, so you can have new reviews, right? So we had one that was a Trustpilot concept, worked very well. We showed a bunch of reviews for this client, and then we just showed different reviews. So that was a winning concept. We showed different reviews, so it's just new proof with that same concept, with that same format. Same video, new intro. Of course, you do the same talent. That's if it's a winning talent with a bunch of different scripts. 80% of the spend is not necessarily just the same content iterated. It's new content, but it's iterated based off the winning angle, the winning frameworks of these ads. So, for example, if a street interview question is working, we're going to take that question and duplicate it and have 10 more interviews happen with that same question. If it's a winning hook, a 3 reasons, we're going to display that multiple different ways. Scaling rules and structure. I love this picture because he was just picking them apart, and then round 2 it just came together. But anyway, my point of this picture is that the ads are going to battle within the ad level, within the ad set level. So the rules of scaling are this. You're going to scale the budget between 20 and 30% every 2 days, every 3 days if they're performing extremely well. If they're not performing extremely well, you're going to let it scale and let it sit there to wait for it to balance out. If it's not working, you got to scale it back down a tiny bit. Scale it back down like 10%. If it's not working as well, bring it back down to normal. But you only do this on ads that are already spending for like 3-4 days. Once you have a test budget, let's say it's $100 a day in the ad set level, and it's starting to perform very well, then you go 20%. Then you go another 20%. You can't just start running this up, like start scaling 20% once it's out of the gate, it has a few sales. Give it some time and be extremely patient. Do not become emotionally attached to an ad. That's another huge thing when you're scaling this to this type of level. This is the structure we're running. It's a testing campaign with all of the ad set levels. It's just ABO. The ad sets are the new concepts, and the scaling campaign is typically a CBO. So all those concepts, once there's a winner, we move the variations into different ad sets based on different angles, right? So if we have one product, that goes into one ad set. If we have a specific offer, or we have a specific style, that goes into another ad set. And all the winners move into that scaling campaign. So new creatives happen within the ad set level. And then, of course, that winning ad variation goes into the scaling campaign. But the ads will battle it out within the ad set level. One ad will become victorious, like McGregor in this fight. I messed up. Jose Aldo, but Eddie Alvarez, that was also an incredible fight. Regardless, big fan. Landing page testing, no one really talks about this as much because, I focus on the Facebook ads, but of course this is extremely important. We have a team of developers that makes us new landing pages based off of, just new ideas, new offers, new styles that we like. But once you have an offer that is really performing very well, you're going to test them in different formats. When I say formats, I mean landing pages, right? So this one's more of an advertorial. So a new pet product takes the pet industry by storm with its new interactive features, and then it's just a long explainer of how terrible it was with the dog before this thing existed. There's different offers that you can test with different landing pages. So, Chipotle tests a bunch of offers. They have a free Chipotle buy one, get one entree. They're constantly testing offers. And these landing pages can be built in different ways, whether it's, testimonial, someone with a bunch of pictures, a bunch of alternatives, explaining why yours is their favorite. It could be, the same offer, different headlines. You can test different headlines, different images is a great one as well. A stronger offer, if it's a buy two, get one free, a buy three, get two free, and then you have a crazy pack where some people will actually take it. You have a buy six, get three free, or, get five free, and people could take it, and your AOV just has a nice boost. Advertorial, offer focused, VSL, you can have a video with, a bunch of different B-roll that you filmed over the course of, all of your ad creation. Then you put a voiceover behind it. And then it's basically just testing all of your traffic with, typically, hopefully, you're removing some distractions here. So for example, if you have a bunch of reviews at the bottom, you could test, less reviews. You could test more images, more infographics so people don't have to read the entire thing. But it's just a bunch of testing needs to be happening with the landing pages because you're going for different audiences. If you're going for, let's say 35 plus, I would suggest against, an advertorial or VSL. If you're going for 65 plus, of course, test those formats. If you're going for younger, maybe just a better landing page on your site. Doesn't have to be a third-party page. And you can test that in different ways as well. But this is, a huge factor in scaling to these levels. You're typically not running to a collection page or just a simple product page. You're running to a bridge page, which is going to get you to that product page. And that bridge page could be, an advertorial, 3 reasons, a testimonial, a video. It's just we're testing all of these different options with landing pages. I typically use either gem pages or Replo to build pages on the actual website, or you can have your own site that you build things on. But testing offers and formats for your offers with landing pages is incredible. And then a faster way to test them all is with statics. And then match the offer in the ad to the offer in the landing page, and it's just a nice congruent. It all comes together, and the consumer, it just flows. Consumer has a higher chance of converting with that alone. The final reality here is, $500,000 a month accounts all have the aggressive creative output, which we typically help with. We create multiple concepts every single week with variations for our clients. Simple funnels, a winning offer, and then they remove their emotions from their return on ad spend, which is what I was mentioning before. Your emotion cannot be attached to your CPA or your ROAS. It's very easy for your mood to depend on high performance. Some days will be terrible, some days will be great. Do not have your mood depend on them, or else you're going to make very bad decisions. You're going to turn things off, you're going to scale things up when they're absolutely crushing for one day and they're going to, die off or taper off the next day. Remove the emotions, realize that bad days do happen, and watch the performance over, zoom out basically. Watch it over 3 days. Click last 7 days. I like to click this week after there's 3 days happen within the week to see what's going on, see the ROAS overall. Very hard to judge the ROAS only on 1 day, even 2 days. It's not fair to really look at that and optimize based off that data. So give it a few more days. But overall, just don't be emotional. Don't be emotionally attached to one ad. If you spend too much money on an ad, you're like the creator. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Got to move on to the next ad. That's why we focus on creative output, because you just have more shots on goal. It's just a higher chance of finding that winner. So if you need ads made for your brand, makewinningads.com. Click the link below. We'll talk very soon. Book a free call, book a call. It's obviously free. We'll go through the account, see how we can help you, which style, what strategy we can apply to get you to these $500,000 a month. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. This is the roadmap to getting to $500,000 a month in 2026. Of course, there's more details in here, but this is a nice overview. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it.